This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, I'd like to call the July 1st Zoning Board of Appeals meeting to order. If you'd rise and recite the pledge with me, I appreciate that. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So this is a new way of doing these zoning meetings. So just to get everybody up to speed, if we're not hearing your application or you're not speaking, we just ask that you mute your microphone. I'm gonna do a roll call to make sure all the applicants are here. At that point, please unmute yourself and just say here. We're gonna listen to the items as they're listed in order on the agenda. So we do open your application. Again, unmute yourself. Please tell us your name. Everybody will be sworn in. And I think that might be it. So with that, just doing a roll call, is Homes for Heroes here?
Here.
Yes.
Okay, Reeves?
Yes, Carl Ackerman, architect,
Thanks.
appearing on their behalf.
ORI?
Here.
Yes. Beng Ui.
Okay.
Jeju Daniel is here.
Duganzik?
Yes. Michael Duganzik.
And Danielle Park.
Okay. And Fitzpatrick?
Yes, Sherry Fitzpatrick's here.
Okay, great. I make a motion to open Homes for Heroes. Can I get a second? Second by Patricia. All in favor, Dan, aye. Patricia?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Billy?
Aye.
And Tommy?
Aye.
Great. Debbie?
I have a notarized affidavit of posting and a disclosure certificate and several letters of correspondence. The first dated February 26, 2020 from the Rockland County Department of Planning. They recommend the following modifications. A review must be completed by the County of Rockland Highway Department. Any concerns addressed and all required permits obtained. A review must be completed by the Rockland County Department of Health. Any comments or concerns addressed and any required permits obtained. Map note number 10 is incomplete. The sewer district shall be recorded as Orangetown as stated on the land use board application. In addition, map note number 13 incorrectly states the plan is subject to general municipal law sections L and N. As this is a site plan application and not a subdivision, this should be corrected to sections L and M. Signed, Douglas J. Schutz, Acting Commissioner of Planning. The second letter is dated March 13th, 2020 from the Rockland County Sewer District Number 1. Rockland County Sewer District Number 1 does not object to the plan as shown. The project does not affect any sanitary sewers within the district. Signed, Joseph LaFiandra, Engineer 2. And then I have a letter dated March 16th, 2020 from the Rockland County Department of Health. This office must approve plans for sewage disposal per Article 4, Section 4.2.1 of the Rockland County Sanitary Code. Formal application is to be made. A copy of the sanitary sewer analysis is to be submitted directly to this office for review. Application is to be made to RCDOH for review of the stormwater management system for compliance with the county mosquito code. In accordance with Article 13.8.1 of the Rockland County Sanitary Code, all multiple dwellings with 3 or more rental units and all rooming houses must register and obtain a multiple dwelling rental certificate from Rockland County Health Department, Rockland Codes Initiative, RCI, prior to occupancy. Signed, Elizabeth Mello, PE. And that's it for correspondence.
What are we supposed to do? Wednesday? No.
Can't
Sorry.
seem to hear anything.
Sorry, no, I was who's speaking on behalf for Homes for Heroes?
I am Donald Brennan, the attorney for Homes for Heroes.
Okay, will anybody else be speaking?
Yes, I also have the Honorable John Murphy. He will be speaking, and I also have the engineer, Ken DeGennaro.
Okay, Ken DeGennaro, John Murphy, and Don Brenner, do you swear to tell the whole truth? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, we do.
Okay,
I do.
thank you. All right, Patricia? Patricia?
Okay. ZBA 20-27, application of Rockland Homes for Heroes variances from zoning code, chapter 43 of the town of Orangetown Code, R15 district, section 3.12, group N, column 5. See note 18, not more than 5 units per acre for adult housing on a minimum parcel of 5 acres and a maximum parcel of 7 acres, not separated by a road and or right of way. 8.16 acres exist for veteran housing. The premises are located at 335 Western Highway, Tappan, New York, and are identified on the Orangetown tax map as section 74.18, block 3, lot 48 in the R15 zoning district. So please tell us what the plans are here, and we'll be.
Okay, let me see if I can give you a little background. The background that being that this was an old Army base, which was used many, many years ago when the government ran a missile base in the town of Orangetown and a Nike base up on the mountain. It was subsequently transferred over to the reserve. The reserve gave it up, and Homes for Heroes was fortunate enough to acquire the property. As you know, it's located on Western Highway at the intersection of Independence Avenue. I've given you the location. It has all the services. I think the Honorable John Murphy wants to talk a little bit about what it's all about, and then I will have Mr. DeGennaro go through the site plan. So, John, do you want to pick it up and tell us about the project?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. When the federal government declared the property surplus, it could only be used by law to accommodate 3 purposes. One was homelessness, one was medical purposes, and the other was animal shelters. There was a number of counties and cities and private agencies that applied for the lease. I was one of them. The difference being that they wanted to build curb to curb maximum height because they were going to accommodate many hundreds of homeless people. My application was for a minimum. At that time, it was for 50, but then we adjusted it, and we're only going to serve 22 persons on the property because we did not want a virtual institutionalization. And we opened up about 3 years ago. We have 8 supportive apartments that are working beautifully, and we've been encouraged to add 14 more. So that would be a total of 22 on 7 acres. They're all, at present, the 8 are 1-bedroom units, 1 story, no steps, no elevators, and the next 14 will include some 2-bedroom units. We're very solvent. We have money in the bank. We have a marvelous record with the federal government and all the financial institutions with which we deal. And right now we're awaiting what is called a loan grant from New York State government homeless
Hi,
house.
John, you
Yeah.
broke up a little bit there. Can you repeat that
To,
last
I
part?
just add this, to gain, we were,
There's a lot of interference.
we work in association with the VA.
We can't hear.
Say it again?
We
Yeah, we
can't
can't
hear.
hear you.
You can't hear me?
No.
All right, John, I think you
I'm
described,
leaning right up against the screen here.
John, I think you described the project as to the need.
I'm not,
Can you hear me, John?
yes, I hear you well. Can you hear me?
Yes, he can, but I think you described. the
Can you
project-
hear me?
Yes, we can. I think you've described the project as to the number of units that are needed and the need we know about. Let me just hand it over to Ken for a little bit, so he'll do the site. And then if the board has any more specific questions, they will do it. So just put yours on mute for a second, John. And Ken, you want to take over?
Sure. So on the site plan that you're seeing on the screen now, you can see the darker hatched area. That's the new driveway that's going in to service the buildings. And before we even talk about that, the buildings are a reutilization of the existing barracks that were on the site and the chow hall that were on the site. So there's no new construction or new building footprints being added. We are reusing the foundation and the walls of those buildings and repurposing them into 14 units of veteran housing. So in order to achieve the access to those buildings, we are utilizing the existing driveway that's Homes for Heroes Way that has frontage on Western Highway. The variance that we are requesting, this zone has a maximum lot area of 7 acres and a zoning density of 5 units per acre. So if we were at the maximum, we would be allowed 35 units. The existing lot area that we are not changing, we're not asking for a subdivision, is 8.16 acres. Therefore, we need the variance because we exceed the maximum allowable. However, we are under the threshold for unit count in terms of what we would have been allowed to do if we were subdivided down to the 7 acres. So that's the only variance we need for this project. It's existing buildings that are being renovated and repurposed.
Okay, John, do you want to add anything to that? John Murphy, do you want to add anything to what was said?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
No, that sums it all up, except to say that I'll just give you 3 sentences. In order to gain access to become a resident, you have to be honorably discharged veteran without a home. That's the first thing. The second thing about it is that we have the support of the VA because of the number of homeless in the 6-county mid-Hudson service area. So frankly, we'll never be without applications for residents. And that's the only additional thing. We want to mention the fact that we were able to obtain this property because we said we would preserve its military history and we would not serve the general homeless population.
Thank you, John. All right, would the board like to ask any kind of questions?
I would like to ask a question. As far as the runoff and drainage, that's a very intricate part of drainage in that town, obviously, in that part of town.
Of course.
This is Tom Point. The town's gonna take care of the drainage from Western Highway all the way back to their project. Is that correct?
That's correct. The town has a drainage easement right now to maintain the drainage from Western Highway that travels to the back.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just want to ask, is there already a front yard variance of 28 for the 28.1?
Let me see.
I know
Yes,
it's,
that's existing non-conforming. The 2 units on the front, the closest setback is 28.1 to the front yard, and 30 is required.
right, okay. So was there a variance granted the first time around, or?
I do not believe there was, Don, or John. At that time, the property was not privately owned, correct?
The government did not, the federal government did not require it at that time, so therefore there were no variances at that time for the first section.
Yes.
Because we normally, I don't know, Dan, I'm looking at you, we usually add them if they're existing, the 28.1.
Yeah, I think it's covered up by that. Yeah, no, yeah, definitely, Patricia.
Okay, so I'll just add that in as a variance.
Please,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, we reaffirm those pre-existing ones, but or this is prior to code, right? Don?
Yes, I'll go along with it, even though it's a different section, but we will put it on the map.
All right.
And the, obviously comply with what Rockland County was asking and the health department, yes.
Yes. Yes, all comments received, we will comply with.
At the request of the Tappan Fire District, I was asked to question the alarms, the detectors in the new section be pleased laid out by a professional so that
Okay.
we don't have to, we have an inordinate amount of alarms in that 8-unit, 2 subdivision, 2-unit buildings that are there now. We would like you to make sure you take care of that.
We certainly will. I understand from the architect and from the facilities manager of that issue. And the architect is working to coordinate all the required elements of a better system with the building department.
Okay, thank you for that.
Okay. Does anybody from the audience wish to be heard, or the public? If you do, please unmute your microphone. Just state your name. Does anybody from the public wish to be heard on this? Anybody from the public wish to be heard on this? Okay, are there any further questions from the board?
No.
No?
No,
Nope.
Okay, hearing
Okay.
none, I make a motion. Hearing none, I
Dan.
make a motion to, yeah,
Dan.
hold on. Uh-huh,
Dan, can you hear me?
I can, Don, yeah.
Okay, just for the record,
Mhm.
and it's an area variance, and I would just want to put in for the record for the items, whether this benefit could be achieved by other means, no, because these are existing structures. 2, is an undesirable change in the neighborhood. In fact, it's a benefit because we have abandoned structures that are going to be used properly. Whether the request is substantial, it's not substantial because we're primarily really under the zoning as to what could go there. Whether requests will be adverse physically or environmentally affect the neighborhood, no, in fact, it'll improve the neighborhood. And whether the alleged difficulty was self-created was not really self-created because the buildings were there. I just put that in for the record. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Don. If there's no further comments, I'll make a motion to close.
Second.
Who's that, Rob?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor, Dan, aye, Rob,
Aye.
Patricia,
Aye.
Billy,
Aye.
Tom?
I,
Okay, great. Denise, you want to do secret?
Sure. Regarding ZBA 20-27, applicant Camp Shanks, Rockland Homes for Heroes Site Plan Phase 2. Since the planning board noticed its intent to declare itself lead agency and distributed that notice of intention to all include agencies, including the ZBA who consented but did not object to the planning board acting as lead agency pursuant to coordinated review under the State Environmental Quality Review Act, And since the planning board conducted a secret review and on October 7th, 2019, as set forth in PB number 19-68, they rendered an environmental determination that no significant adverse environmental impact would result from the proposed land use. The ZBA is bound by the planning board's negative declaration and cannot require further review pursuant to secret regulation 617.6B3. If you have no questions or comments, the board member can adopt my legal opinion as a motion.
I so move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, Dan, aye. Patricia,
Aye.
Rob,
Aye.
Billy,
Aye.
Tom.
Aye.
Great, thank you. Patricia, do you want to make a motion?
Sure. I make a motion that we accept the application of Rockland Homes for Heroes and the variances requested with adding the 28.1 front yard, which already is existing, non-conforming. The project has no adverse effect on the neighborhood, but actually will be beneficial. It's not substantial, not self-created, and it cannot be approved by any other means.
Great, can I get a second?
Second.
I think that was Rob, right? Okay, all in favor, Patricia,
Aye.
Rob,
Aye.
Billy,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
and Dan Sullivan, aye. All right, guys, have a good night. Good luck with your project. Thank you.
Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Very much.
Great. I'd like to make a motion to open Reeves.
Second.
Who's that, Billy?
Rob.
Rob? I can't tell you guys apart yet. Okay, all in favor, Dan, aye. Rob,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Tricia,
Aye.
and Tommy.
Aye.
Great, Debbie.
I have a notarized affidavit of posting and a disclosure certificate. That's it for correspondence.
Okay. Billy.
Okay, this is ZBA number 20-40, application of Elizabeth Reeves for a variance from zoning code of the town of Orangetown Code, chapter 43, RG District, Group Q, section 3.12, column 9, side yard 10 feet required, 8 feet existing in a screened-in porch at an existing single-family residence. Premises are located at 112 Bogart Avenue, Pearl River, New York, and is identified on the Orangetown tax map as section 68.16, block 3, lot 21 in the RG zoning district. So why don't we start with a quick background of the project and why you need a variance?
Yeah, sorry, Billy, let me just swear them in. I forgot to do that. So Carl, is it just you that's speaking?
Yeah, it's just me.
Okay, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Okay, sorry, Billy, go ahead.
That's okay. Hi, Carl. Good evening.
Good evening.
You can give us just a quick background about what's going on and why you need a variance.
Sure. My clients contacted me. They were in process of selling their home. Currently in Orangetown, a process begins, and when someone requests a search, this screen porch was constructed by prior owners. There was a variance prior. The kitchen was expanded on this property, and that 2 feet was already given for the front section of the kitchen. This screen porch must have been constructed by the prior owners. We're estimating, under the code of 2010 code, it aligns with that kitchen and the prior variance. It doesn't, but it's still expanding a non-conforming side yard. So the new screen porch section requires a 2-foot variance. And basically, they're in the process. If not, it's sold already. We just need to get this cleaned up, and we're not expanding any further than a prior variance that was issued. This lot is substandard. There's a few existing nonconformities that are listed in the bulk table, but it's that street in character. There's a lot of houses on small lots.
Okay, and to be clear, that it doesn't extend past that kitchen. The kitchen, like you said, already got the variance to be 8 feet, not 10 feet.
Correct. There might be an overhang, slight overhang extension, but that doesn't, you measure to the building face.
And what's separating that side of the property from the neighbors? Is there a fence over there?
Correct. There is a fence that's existing. It was a white vinyl solid fence from my memory. So it's a pretty basic variance for this 2 feet. So this wasn't self-created. They didn't even realize that it was non-conforming until they went to sell the home.
Right. I have no further questions.
Great. Any further questions from the board? Does anybody from the audience or public wish to be heard on this? If you do, please unmute your phone. Does anybody from the public wish to be heard on this? And does anybody from the public wish to be heard on this? All right, if there's no further comments or questions from the board, make a motion to close.
Second.
Second by Rob. Dan's all in favor. Dan, aye. Rob?
Aye.
Billy?
Aye.
Tricia?
Aye.
Tommy?
Aye.
All right, Denise, secret.
Okay, regarding ZBA 20-40, applicant Reeves, based on the testimony heard by this board and the facts as presented in the aforementioned application submission and in the record, this application is exempt from environmental review under the State Environmental Quality Review Act pursuant to SEQRA Regulation 617.5 C 11, 12, 16, and/or 17. If you have no questions or comments, a board member can adopt my legal opinion as a motion.
I so move. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Patricia. All in favor. Dan Sullivan, aye. Patricia?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Billy?
Aye.
Tommy? Tommy?
Sorry.
Tommy? There you go.
Aye.
All right, great, thanks. Billy, you want to make a motion on this?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to approve the application of Elizabeth Reeves for the variance from the 10-yard side yard requirement in the town code. The request isn't substantial. It's asking for a 2-foot reduction and already has that in their kitchen. Will not result in undesirable change in the neighborhood. I actually took a drive down the street. There's a lot of the houses on that street have similar closed side yards. And the kitchen is already 8 feet from the property line. Will not have any adverse physical or environmental effects, and there is no other feasible means for them to achieve the benefit. So for those reasons, I make a motion to approve the variance.
Second.
Second by Patricia. All in favor. Billy?
Aye.
Patricia?
Aye.
Dan Sullivan, aye. Rob?
Aye.
Tommy?
Aye.
Great. Okay, thank you very much. Carl, have a good evening and talk to you soon.
Thanks. Yeah, okay, thank you very much.
All right. All right, I make a motion to open application of organic recycling.
Second.
Second by Patricia. All in favor, Dan Sullivan, aye. Patricia? Patricia? Patricia?
Aye.
Oh, thank you. All
Aye.
right,
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Billy?
Aye.
And Tommy.
Aye.
All right, Debbie?
I have a notarized affidavit of posting and a disclosure certificate and several letters of correspondence. The first dated June 11th, 2020 from the Rockland County Department of Planning. They recommend the following modifications. A review must be completed by the Palisades and State Park Commission and any raised concerns addressed. A review must be completed by the County of Rockland Drainage Agency and any required permits obtained. The town should be satisfied that all the applicable provisions of the Route 303 overlay zone are still being met. The application form indicates the water district United Water. This shall be corrected to Suez. Signed, Douglas J. Schutz, Acting Commissioner of Planning. Just for the record, I sent something to the Palisades and State Park Commission and they did not respond. I have the second email from the Rockland County Drainage Agency, and they have, this is in response to the municipal referral from the Zoning Board of Appeals dated May 22nd, 2020. The RCDA has previously reviewed the above referenced site and determined that it is within the jurisdiction. Since the current proposal does not include site developments, but for the renewal of performance standards, the RCDA has no comments. Thank you. Sajan Thakuraka. I can never say his name. Then I have a letter from the Orangetown Highway Department. Organic Recycling will soon submit an application for a 5-year renewal of their special use permit. I would like to express the Orangetown Highway Department's support of the renewal. ORI has been our neighbor for many years. In the 22 years that I have served as superintendent of highways, they have repeatedly proven to be a supportive and excellent neighbor. Their close proximity of our facilities provides us an opportunity to observe and experience ORI's professional and high caliber operation and services. They run a safe and professional operation and are proactive in ensuring no nuisance odor is generated. They have beautified and helped maintain the entrance and pathways by our resident drop-off center. The formerly bare strip of land is now paved with paving and natural stones and refreshed with plants and shrubs. The formerly dilapidated Route 303 drive-in theater marquee at the entrance was restored by ORI and recognized by Keep Rockland Beautiful, Inc. They have always been supportive and have participated in our annual open house for the last 24 years. They take this opportunity to educate the public on composting and recycling. ORI has saved money for the department, town, and taxpayers. They screen the department's road sweepings for free and have saved us over $250,000 in disposal fees. Furthermore, they provide free screen stone for use in our drainage projects. In several cases, they have loaned us equipment at no charge. By design and need, the Highway Department facility is used at all times of day and night. Having such a supportive neighbor with complementary and compatible businesses is a real benefit to us and the town of Orangetown as a whole. ORI is a pioneer yard waste recycling facility. We have worked with them for more than 27 years. They were in the green business before it was commonplace to think green. They are a proven entity and good corporate citizen that provides taxable revenue to the town of Orangetown. I would like to thank you and all zoning board members for your ongoing dedication to keep Orangetown a great place to live and work. Signed, James Dean, Superintendent of Highways. Then I have a memorandum dated June 24th, 2020 from Michael Bettman, Chief Fire Inspector. In addition to my comments 5 years ago, the emergency access gate by DEME must be kept clear at all times, and he attached a picture of the gate not being clear. And then I have attached his request from April 21st, 2015. The site plan should show the following: storage trailers, office trailers, 1,000 gallon diesel fuel tanks, storage areas for flammable liquids, gases, any trailers being used as mechanic shops, etc. Fire alarm systems must be maintained per code in buildings 1 and 2. Roadways throughout site must be maintained at all times to provide emergency vehicle access for fire apparatus. The emergency access gate located opposite the gasoline pumps at the Orangetown Sewer Department must be kept clear at all times for a width of 20 feet until the access reaches the internal road on the site. Was there a height restriction imposed at the time of issuing the first use permit to the site for the soil and mulch piles? Signed, Michael B. Bettman, Chief Fire Inspector, Town of Orangetown. Then I have a letter from DEME, Town of Orangetown. The first letter is dated June 30th, 2019. Dear Mr. Arbolino, please see attached memorandums detailing the specific areas of concern that need to be addressed. Signed, Eamon Riley, PE Commissioner. A memo from Dylan Hofsis. Organic recycling must provide a standard operating procedure for dust control, odor control. The current plan procedure is not adequate for the processes being conducted on site. A memo from Michael Weber, Industrial Pretreatment Director, dated June 19, 2020. The Industrial Pretreatment Permit number 2020-032 issued to Organic Recycling, Inc. covers the performance review for this project. Please note that this department has contacted the permittee to inform that they are delinquent in providing their reporting required data per the town issued industrial discharge permit. It should also be noted that page 1 of the resume of operations and equipment fails to include the wastewater discharge permit in the list. Page 6 should also have the IPP listed under the resource management section, water regulation. And then we have the latest memo dated, I think it's misdated, This is Bruce Peters said, dated June 30th, 2020. There are no engineering issues related to the project above. And the last memo is dated June 19th, 2020 from Dylan Hofsis, who apparently worked with the applicant. I have no objections with Organic Recycling, Inc. odor and dust control measures. And that is it for correspondence.
Whew.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we have, so Don, you're representing them. And then
Yes, I am. I have,
hold on. Yeah. So, okay, go ahead. Do your introductions.
I'm representing him as the attorney. We have Tiju Danielle, who's going to be the project coordinator, and I have Ben Owen, who is the owner or the CEO of the operation.
Okay, hold on one sec. I just want to swear them in. Benoit and JJ, I'm
Daniel.
sorry, Tiju Daniel. Yeah, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Yes.
Okay. Don, let me
Could I
just read
just
this
get the
another.
spelling of Ben's name?
It's BENG and
Mm-hmm.
we is OOI.
Thank you.
Okay, this is a ZBA number 20-41 application of organic recycling for renewal of zoning code Town of Orangetown, Chapter 43, Section 4.12. Performance standards that were granted in ZBA number 15-36 to continue the composting operation taking place at 121 Route 303, Tappan, New York, and are identified on the Orangetown tax map as Section 74.19, Block 1, Lot 3 in the LI zoning district. All right, Don, you're on.
Okay, I've been representing this client for the last 25 years. As Mr. Commissioner Superintendent Dean stated, they've been a very good neighbor. They've been very good for the town of Orangetown with its residents. When there have been problems, they've been there and they've been fixed the operation immediately. They have a permit from the Environmental Conservation Law to run this facility. And they also have an industrial waste discharge permit. The 1 or 2 items that were expressed in the memos were really items which will be explained to you, which can be corrected just by some paper filing. It is a very successful operation and it is an asset to the town of Orangetown. I think what I'd like to have now, maybe Mr. Ben or speak first about the project, and then we'll have Mr. Daniels talk. So Ben, you want to take it over?
Sure. Good evening, and thank you for considering our reapplication. This will be our 5th time appearing before the ZBA. The first time we came through was in 1999. We run basically a composting facility for yard waste. We take in leaf, grass, tree parts. We do not compost grass anymore. What we do is we take it in and we truck it out to our compost facility in Goshen, where we have an 85-acre New York State DEC permitted facility in a more rural setting. We basically make various products from the composted garden waste, and we make different varieties and types of soil, from soil for the rooftop, soil for rain garden, top decking, topsoil, lightweight soil, to a whole myriad of stuff for state DOT. We also make various types of mulches which we use for erosion control, and we essentially provide like a one-stop shop for businesses to come, drop the material, buy the material, and go out. So we have always been a very good neighbor. We have worked very closely with your Orangetown Highway Department. I remember snowstorms when we sent our operators and big front-end loaders to help clear snow. When there's too much snow to be dumped, highway have dumped on our site. Every year we screen the road sweepings from Orangetown Highway, and we save the town $30,000-$40,000 a year in tipping fee for disposal costs. In our byproduct of making soil, we have screen pebbles that we give to Orangetown Highway, which they use for their pipe jobs. They've used it up, and every year they ask for more. And on top of that, we also have bigger size stones, which Orangetown Highway used to make field stone walls. So we try our very best. We want to be good neighbors. We have a communication link with the neighborhood. If there's any issue, we always recognize it, tackle it straight away, and you have my commitment for the next period, whatever period you grant us for renewal. We have honored what we say we'll do all the time. You can see from the last 20 years, 27 years actually. Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
TJ, would you like to put any input?
Yeah, sure. Just going back on to what Ben said again, this is the 5th time we're going for the renewal since 1999. And as a DEC approved composting facility, we want to be permitted by the town to continue our composting operation. And the operations of the yard waste composting has remained the same, and nothing has been altered to the site. To address the dust, we have addressed the dust and odor concerns raised by Dylan, along with I'm currently working with Michael Weber as well to address his concerns as well.
Okay, fine. Just for the record, if you look at section 4.3(1) of your code, for a special permit, it says will be appropriately located in respect to transportation, water supply, waste disposal, fire and police protection, and other public facilities. As was said before, it's been there for 25 years with no problem at all. 2, will not cause undue traffic situation or traffic hazard. Again, it's been there. In fact, if anything, during snowstorms, it has been helpful to the town of Orangetown. 3, it will not store any dangerous or objectionable elements, which it does not. 4, it will not affect the character of the property because it's been there 25 years, and it will not impair the public health, safety, or morals. So we think the renewal of this special permit is in order. Anybody from the board like to ask questions? We're open to your questions. Did we lose Mr. Sullivan?
Sorry, you did. I'm looking at something. It's on mute. How many years are you looking for renewal?
Well, we put the application in for 5, but they do have a 25-year lease with the owner. If the board at one time did this for Kolb Subaru, if the board could grant us 25 years, we'd be very happy. So we don't have to come back every 5 years. And you could bring us back anytime we are in violation of the code.
Yeah, no, I think that, I mean, having been on this board a long time, a while ago, hearing that the composting is being done in Goshen and not on site there, I mean, that was part of some of the complaints that we heard of neighbors in Tappan area, and I think that's why this last one was 5 years. Patricia, you may recall that.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'd be amenable to say 10 years down. I mean, you know, obviously they are a good neighbor. I mean, I've been down there and it's you know, it's a well-run shop. And I mean, last time there were a lot of complaints. This time it seems like they're doing all the right things. So, I don't know. Would that be amenable, Don?
10 years is okay. We'd like 25, but if you're giving 10, I don't think we're gonna.
And say, go ahead, Patricia.
No, I said, I don't think he's going to argue with that.
Yeah. But having said that, I haven't heard from the public yet. Does anybody from the audience wish to be heard on this? If you do, unmute your phone, state your name. Does anybody from the audience wish to be heard on this? Does anybody from the audience wish to be heard on this? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm more of I'm looking at 10, Don, if that's all right.
It's okay. It's very hard to negotiate with the Zoom.
Why are you giving me a death stare? I can't see you on
Well,
my screen.
sometimes person to person is a little better.
All right, at this time, I just asked the board to look through the performance standards, having noted that they've been reviewed by the town engineer. But if there's any questions or issues that you want to bring up, please do so now. I'll give you a couple minutes just to review it.
Danny, can I speak as a member of the public for a minute?
Sure, please.
Okay. As the chairman of the board of the Tappan Fire District, for the last number of years, they've been very good neighbors. They've been very responsive when we ask them to do anything to change things. 10 years is a very reasonable amount of time, I think.
Okay, thanks, Tom. All right, just no further comments from the applicant or the public or the board. I will make a motion to close.
Second.
Second by Patricia. All in favor, Dan Sullivan, aye. Patricia? Rob?
Aye.
Billy?
Aye.
Tommy?
Aye.
Great. Denise?
Okay, with regard to ZBA 20-41, applicant organic recycling, based upon the testimony heard by this board and the facts as presented in the application submission and in the record, this application entails the ZBA engaging in a review to determine compliance with technical requirements. The application is exempt from environmental review under the State Environmental Quality Review Act pursuant to SEQA Regulation 617.5C28. If you have no questions or comments, the board can adopt my legal opinion as a motion.
I so move.
Second.
Second by Rob. All in favor, Dan Sullivan, aye. Rob?
Aye. Aye.
Thank you. Patricia?
Aye.
Billy?
Aye.
Tommy?
Aye.
Great. I make a motion to approve the application for organic recycling for a period of 10 years. They're obviously a good neighbor and they have a lot of people talking good things about them, myself included.
Second.
Second by Patricia. All in favor, Dan Sullivan, aye. Patricia?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Billy?
Aye.
Tommy?
Aye.
Great. All right. Ben and Tisha, thank you very much. Don, have a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good
All right.
evening.
Good evening.
Very much. Okay, bye.
Bye now. All right, make a motion to open to Gansik.
Second.
Second.
Second by Rob. All in favor, Dan Sullivan, aye. Rob?
Aye.
Patricia?
Aye.
Tommy?
Aye.
Billy?
Aye.
All right, Debbie.
I have a notarized affidavit of posting and a disclosure certificate.
Great. So we have Mike DeGanzik and was it, I can't read my handwriting.
Danielle Park.
Danielle
yeah.
Park. Thank you. So Mike DeGanzik, Danielle Park, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Tommy.
ZBA number 20-42, application of Michael DeGanzik for variances from zoning code, chapter 43 of the town of Orangetown code, chapter 43, R15 district, group M, section 3.12, columns 4, floor area ratio, 0.2 permitted, 0.23 proposed. Column 9, side yard, 20 foot required, 19.7 foot proposed. And 10 total side yard, 50 foot required, 40.3 foot proposed, for an addition to an existing single family residence. Premises located at 45 Old Drive, Pearl River, New York, and is identified in the Orangetown tax map as section 69.18, block 2, lot 63 in the R15 zoning district. If you could take us through your addition and what you plan to attain and how you're going to handle this. Appreciate it.
Sure.
So Danielle and I moved to Pearl River in June of 2014, so about 6 years ago. We were blessed to have our daughter Maya, who will be starting kindergarten next year. And since our daughter's birth, we've talked about wanting to expand our family and to provide more space for our daughter to play around in the house and to also increase our kitchen size. We first looked into possibly looking to obtain another property, live somewhere else, and we couldn't bear the thought of leaving where we are now. We love our home, we love our neighbors, and when we made that decision, we knew this is where we wanted to be. Myself, I'm a Pearl River resident for almost my whole life. My dad grew up here. My aunts and uncles did as well. And again, the main crux of our application is we wanted to add an additional bedroom with the hopes of one day expanding our family with another child and to give our daughter more space to enjoy herself growing up. And I'll turn it to you.
Okay. We have reached out to our neighbors who we are blessed that we have amazing neighbors. The ones that are both next to us, across the street, and surrounding neighbors as well in our neighborhood. And we have a letter here. And if I can go ahead and just read this to you on the record, if that would be okay.
Sure.
It says, to whom it may concern, this is in regards to Gigantic family's application for building permit. To whom it may concern, as the immediate neighbors of Michael, Danielle, and Maya, we support their building permit application and its architectural plans. We look forward to remaining neighbors and making memories for the many years to come. Yours truly, and it signs Kim Perlman as well as Pamela Vinci, and then and also.
Sorry, do you have Danielle? Do you have addresses for them or no?
Yes. Kim Perlman should be.
The one immediate to our left.
Yeah, right on the corner to the left of us. So that would be 43.
It might be. I don't remember the address.
Yeah, the address is actually skip a little bit on our street. Like I know, Vinci's. I'm sorry, it was Bud Holleran that signed this.
Yeah.
He lives right next to us, but it is not considered. Their house is actually 50 Oder Drive, and we're 45. And then to the left of us, we have Kim and Scott Perlman. And we're trying to look up exactly what their address would be, because like I said, it does skip. It may be 43. I apologize that we don't know this offhand.
Is it to the left or the right of your house?
It should be on the list of people that were mailed notices. Pamela, 51 older.
51 older is Pam Vinci, and 39 older is Kim Perlman.
Yes.
So Kim Millie.
Yes.
Millie, yes, there you go.
Yeah, her new married
name is Perlman.
Yeah.
And so we have that signed. Across the street from us as well is Karen Counts. Karen and Michael Count live there, and she was unfortunately unable to sign the letter the day that we were asking people to, but she did state, and I have the text message if you'd like me to show it to you, that she will feel free to speak to anyone in person or over the phone to also support us. And then if you would like to see the letter, I can show that to you in the camera as well, that has their signatures on it.
I would like you to email me the letter so I can make it part of the record.
Perfect.
Yes, we can do that.
Thank you.
Otherwise, I mean, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying I haven't figured that part out yet, how to get stuff from you. Go ahead, sorry.
No, it's okay. Just as my husband had stated, we had, had the idea of looking for another residence, and every time we would come home from looking at another house in Pearl River, because that is where we want to be, we realized that we're just so happy with where we are. She has amazing neighbors. We're always there to support each other, and we help out with each other's children. They are always looking out for us. She's going to be attending kindergarten in September, and we just couldn't think of another place that we would want to, God willing, you know, hopefully expand our family. We don't want to move anywhere else. Like, this is where we want our forever home to be. For Maya, I grew up in Rivervale, but numerous times throughout my growing up there, I had spent time with my family in Pearl River, and whether it was just going to the restaurants, going to the parades for St. Patrick's Day, and it just meant a lot, you know, to my family and to me when I was growing up in New Jersey to spend time in Pearl River, and that's the reason why we chose this area also. So I just wanted to add that in there.
So, and just also to address the factors that you all would consider in regards to granting variances, we wouldn't be producing any undesirable change. The front of the house is actually going to be remaining exactly the same. The lot that we have was non-conforming when we moved in. Regarding the boundaries on the side, it's about 20 feet each way. A lot of the houses on our block are situated that way. Whether the requested area variance would be substantial, we're not looking to make a McMansion or anything like that. There's still a pretty large backyard behind us. There's a large property of a house behind that that won't interfere with anybody's views or anything like that. In regards to the neighborhood and districts, it ties in a little bit to what I said before, but our neighbor directly to the right of us did an addition, I think, in the last 15 years. That's a 2,300 square foot house, and it's, you know, it's taller than that. It has I'm sure a variance on its height. And our house is, you know, going to be about, it won't be that size, because it's not going to be that tall. Again, whether the alleged difficulty is self-created, again, we moved into this house and already had a non-conforming use, and any type of expansion we'd want to do would involve some type of variance to be granted, again, given the conditions of the sides of the property and how the property's already been laid out.
And if I can just add one more thing, as I'm an educator, I teach elementary school, and I want my, you know, daughter to be able to experience having an amazing school district, just the way I did and as my husband did. And I know how, I'm sorry, school experience in a successful school district is what I meant to say. And I know how good the schools in Pearl River are, which is another reason why we, you know, want to make sure she can get the best education she can.
I think that's it from us.
Great.
We clearly have never done this before, so we're just jumping around with our thoughts.
No, that's great. It's no, that's good. You're doing a great job. Now, Debbie, this is an undersized lot, but that doesn't affect any of the variances, does it?
It's not even shown as an undersized lot in the denial, is it?
I don't know. It should be, shouldn't it?
Yeah, it should be.
Again, not self-created for you guys, just pointing out that the minimum lot area should be 15,000 square feet. If you're granted floor area ratio of 0.2, that's a 3,000 square foot house, which isn't what you're asking for. It's what you're asking for is less than that, and I'm just pointing that out.
We should note that it's an undersized lot.
We should, right?
Yes.
And also deal with the shed.
I'm sorry?
There's a shed.
Is there a shed?
Yeah, we have a shed in there, like right in the back end of our backyard.
The rear of the property that was put in there by the previous owner.
Yes, everything that's there right now has been from the previous owner.
Do you know the size of the shed? You're allowed 100 square feet. So is it 10 by 10 or 8 by 12 or something like that?
It's probably, is it 8 by 10 maybe?
Yeah, didn't build it himself.
I don't know. I don't remember.
I think the previous
I don't know.
Yeah.
We didn't build it. I don't know.
Yeah, we have no idea. Everything was already there. There's a possibility the previous owner had built it himself.
Okay, when you meet Debbie in the office, we'll just ask that you put down the dimensions of the shed. If you can measure that before you go down to see Debbie. And also the setback here. It's supposed to be 5 feet from the property line, which it looks like it should be.
The shed itself?
Yeah.
I think it is 5
Yes,
feet.
it
Yeah.
is.
Okay. My computer just froze.
Shed dimension.
Mhm.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
Yeah, just a couple clarifications. We're going straight out the back, the dormers are staying. The rear dormer is gonna be incorporated into the new structure. Should we worry about the front steps, just so they don't have trouble down the road?
They change where they measure from.
They measured from the porch at one point and from the house at another.
Right, but when the code changes, whether it's like the third riser, right,
Something
Debbie,
like
or the
that.
fourth riser.
Just don't want to see them have trouble 20 years from now.
What's that? I don't know.
It's 30 foot
it wasn't.
required, but you know, it's obviously within that, but to the steps count, we always come up against that.
I just want to see this denial. This stuff is so hard to read. I mean, Tom, if you're comfortable with that, say the existing steps, if that falls within a variance and it's not going to change, you could say something with the setback to that or something
Okay.
along that, right?
That'd be great, just so we put it in there so they're protected, that's all.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And
So
it's
it
for-
seems like I'm looking at this and it seems like, I mean, that was missed or not commented on, and
And I just want to point out, the side yard and the total side yard are already existing, correct? There's no change there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
No,
yeah.
we have not changed anything.
So they're already existing. We're just reconfirming them.
Yes.
Yes.
thank you. Yep. All right, so Tom, you have that, and then just also mention the undersized lot if you make a motion.
Gotcha.
All right, are there any questions? Are there any questions from the public or anybody from the public wish to be heard on this? If you do unmute your phone, please state your name. Does anybody from the public wish to be heard on this? Does anybody from the public wish to be heard on this? No further comments or questions from the applicant or the board. I will make a motion to close.
Second?
Second motion.
Second by Patricia, all in favor. Dan Sullivan, aye. Patricia,
Aye.
Tommy,
All right.
Billy, and Rob.
Aye.
Great. Denise Secra.
Okay, regarding ZBA 20-42, applicant DeGanzik, based upon the testimony heard by this board and the facts as presented in the application submission and in the record, this application is exempt from environmental review under the State Environmental Quality Review Act pursuant to SEQA regulations 617.5C, 11, 12, 16, and or 17. If you have no questions or comments, a board member can adopt my legal opinion as a motion.
I so move.
Second.
Second by Rob. All in favor. Dan Sullivan, aye. Rob,
Aye.
Patricia,
Aye.
Tommy,
Aye.
and Billy.
Aye.
All right, Tommy, you want to make a motion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to approve the application. All of the criteria in that, no undesirable change. Benefits sought can't be achieved any other way, no substantial variances. No adverse effect on the neighborhood. It's a very narrow lot, 71 foot wide. And I'd like to throw in that the front steps as is. Is that acceptable, or do we have to measure it? Or?
I would say as is, and if there's a
9 foot, but not much.
yeah, you say as is, and then we'll just advise Debbie, or we'll ask the applicant to provide the measurements just in case, or confirm, you know, to reaffirm with I say reaffirm with the building inspector. Right.
Then basically, we're okay with the steps where they are.
Yes. Right.
And whatever that measurement is, it's fine.
Okay. All right. Is there a second on that?
I'll second.
Second by Rob. All in favor, Tommy?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Patricia?
Aye.
Dan Sullivan? Aye. Billy?
Aye.
Great. All right, folks, have a good night and good luck with your project.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Happy
All
4th.
right. You too. Take care. Make a motion to open Fitzpatrick.
Aye. Second.
Second by Patricia. All in favor? Dan Sullivan? Aye. Patricia?
Aye.
Billy?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Tommy?
Aye.
Okay, Debbie.
I have a notarized affidavit of posting and a disclosure certificate.
Great. And who's going to be? It's Rob Fitzpatrick and Sherry Fitzpatrick. Oh, I'm sorry, Sherry Fitzpatrick. Is that right?
Sherry and Michael are here.
Sherry and Michael. All right, Sherry and Michael Fitzpatrick. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you, Sherry.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, Rob.
Okay. ZBA number 20-43, application of Michael and Sherry Fitzpatrick for the variances from zoning code chapter 43 of the town of Orangetown code, R15 district, group M, section 3.12, columns 9, side yard, 20 feet required, 10.5 feet proposed, and column 10, total side yard, 50 feet required, 30.75 feet proposed, for an above-ground pool at an existing single-family residence. The premises are located at 65 Moyson Road, Blauvelt, New York, and identified on the Orangetown tax map as section 70.10, block 2, lot 19, in the R15 zoning district. So maybe just start with telling us a little bit about the project, please.
We planned on putting an above ground pool to our side yard. The reason we can't put it to the back of the yard because the most of the entire backyard is sloped, a very large hill, and also the side yard is hilled as well. Not most, but part of it. So that's the only possible place we could put it.
Okay. Now, it's your yard, it's all fenced in, right? It's good.
Yeah.
Can you describe the neighborhood? Your neighbors?
We live on Moyson, which is not far from Bailey's. It's single homes with I would say about the same side yards and yard as us.
Now, do you have a shed in your yard?
There's a shed there. It's been there since we bought the home.
And do you know the size of the shed?
8 by 10, I think. I'm not 100% sure. I never measured it.
All right, where's it located? Back here somewhere?
It's on if you're looking at the house, it's on the left-hand side.
If you're looking at the property.
Yeah. All right, can you, when you go see Debbie again, can you just measure the size of the shed and the setback from the property line? We just need that for the record. You'll just have to pencil it in and initial it.
Okay.
Okay.
So you say it's, oh, sorry, Patricia. No, you go ahead. I was saying, now, are you going to be doing any excavation for this, or?
There's slight just leveling of it. The yard is slightly graded, or how would you say it? They're not taking anything down from the hill. Like there's no retaining wall needs to be done or anything like that.
And can you tell us how far is your neighbor's house on the 10-foot side? How far is that from the property line?
Honestly, I've never measured it.
Well, I mean, would you say it's the same, 10 feet, 20 feet?
Let me just say.
How far is the neighbor's house from the property line?
On the side where you put the pool, yes.
I would say it's equal distance as our house.
From our property line.
Okay, so like about, I'm looking what, at 30 feet, 33 feet?
Something like that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Rob, you good?
Yeah, that's all I have for now.
All right. Does anybody from the public wish to be heard on this? You do unmute your phone or your microphone. Does anybody from the public wish to be heard on this? Does anybody from the public wish to be heard on this? All right.
I have another question, Dan.
Yeah.
My memory's failing me here. The 4.5 feet from the house to the pool.
That should be a variance too, right?
No,
Maybe
an above ground pool can actually touch the house. You don't need a variance for it.
Right.
Thank you.
I had asked the same question.
Oh, okay, there you go. Great mind. There you go.
I was losing it.
Me too.
All right. Any further questions from the board?
No.
Hearing done, to make a motion to close.
Second.
Second by Patricia. All in favor? Dan Sullivan, aye. Patricia?
Aye.
Billy?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Tommy?
Aye.
All right, Denise.
Okay. Regarding ZBA 20-43 applicant Fitzpatrick, based upon the testimony heard by this board and the facts as presented in the application, the submission, and in the record, the application is exempt from environmental review under the State Environmental Quality Review Act pursuant to secret regulations 617.5C, 11, 12, 16, and/or 17. If you have no questions or comments, a board member can adopt my legal opinion as a motion.
I so move.
Second.
All in favor? Dan Sullivan, aye. Patricia?
Aye.
Billy?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Tommy?
Aye.
Great. Rob, you want to make a motion?
Sure. I move to grant the Fitzpatricks the variances. I don't see any adverse effects on the neighborhood or the environment, being there on the hill. That's basically the no other method of putting it anywhere else. So I approve. I move to approve, please.
I second it.
Second by Tommy. All in favor? Dan Sullivan, aye. Patricia?
Aye.
Billy?
Aye.
Rob? Rob?
Aye, sorry.
Sorry, Tommy?
Aye.
Great. All right. Good luck, folks. Have a
Thank
nice
you.
evening.
You too. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Bye now. All right. Motion to close.
Second.
Second by Patricia. All in favor? Dan Sullivan, aye. Patricia?
Aye.
Billy?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
And Tommy?
Aye.
Great.